Dear atheists, one of the things that truly pisses me off about you is the fact that the evidence that God has provided to believers is the same He has provided to you. One of them is coincidences. It pisses me off because the God discussion is not simply a debate, it's a matter of reality, of life and death, literally. So, when weird stuff happens and you dismiss it because it doesn't fit your way of doing things, it's terribly sad because you're not only misleading yourself but also others. You accuse us of being intellectually dishonest when you're the ones who constantly are. Coincidences are something that happens simultaneously, in agreement with you and the universe. Like, for example, not thinking of someone for a very long time, and on the day that you do, hours later, they call. Explain that. Coincidences are always personal. Meaning there's a personal agent behind those concurrences. This isn't too much of a leap, and you know it. But still, it doesn't prove God, does it? It might just be us from the future. Somehow that theory is more plausible to you than the three guys upstairs. But let's just focus on the supernatural since that seems to be your greatest point of contention. It seems to be that your greatest issue with coincidences is that they cannot be replicated. Why would they even be able to be replicated by us? It's literally the universe doing things for us ants. But anyway, and so, that being the case, does that make it so the conversation ends there? Are my personal experiences not valid? Are your personal experiences not valid, you intellectually dishonest person? Denying reality, your own personal experiences with coincidences, and dismissing evidence, other people's testimonies, do count as being intellectually dishonest, don't they? The President of the United States of America, Donald Trump, just happened to turn his head in the precise moment that his head would have exploded like a watermelon. That event is so ridiculous, it is so miraculous that people actually said it was staged. Of course it was staged. What other possible explanation could there be? The shooter missed. Right. But why Donald Trump and not others? How does it make any sense that Yahweh would prevent this and not that? How do you know he didn't? How do you know that World War II wasn't supposed to be the extinction event of our species? Why would God want to use coincidences to prevent someone from drinking but not use that same power to prevent a little girl from being kidnapped and raped? Side note, rape and pedophilia aren't the end-all be-all of vile, evil, despicable acts. Suffering is suffering. Therefore, if God prevents one evil but not another, that does not make him inconsistent or illogical. And it sure does not make you more moral than him, simply because you would have chosen the little girl over the drunken man. You don't know the future, the roles, and the impact that each person has in the world. So, yeah, be grateful that he prevents what he prevents. Where do conspiracy theories come from? Isn't it from coincidences? Princess Diana just happened to be in a zone where 14 cameras did not work, and Prince Charles could not marry unless his previous wife was dead. Come on, man. Therefore, for that reason, and so, if there's a personal reason for an event to occur that cannot be possibly explained by human and material actions like the Caller incident, isn't it because God, not God, a personal agent who lives outside the universe, who created that universe, made it happen? Even if you don't agree with me, can you at least understand and forgive my mishap for attributing this to something other and higher than myself and the material world? If not, you're proving my point. You're proving that you indeed are intellectually dishonest since you cannot explain how coincidences happen. And to reject them as evidence for God is foolish, sad, and scary. Honestly scary that you ask for miracles, and unless God splits the earth in half, having each side facing the sun, making it so it is daytime 24/7, you won't believe him. But yeah, maybe there's another explanation. Maybe I'm using these glitches in our simulation because I want to believe so badly. But not really. You do whatever you want with it. I'm done.